You have a grade 3 hepatic encephalopathy patient. You've started lactulose and you are waiting. But 48 hours later, they are still incoherent. Why? It's because you likely fell for one or more of these 5 common management traps. Today, we are moving beyond the textbook grades and looking at why our standard treatment fail in the real world. Mistake number 1, treating the ammonia number instead of the patient. An elevated serum ammonia level without clinical signs of hepatic encephalopathy is not an indication for treatment. Hepatic encephalopathy is a clinical diagnosis, cognitive and neuromuscular changes, not a lab diagnosis. Quite often, I see ammonia is ordered in the ED, it comes back elevated, and lactulose is automatically ordered despite the lack of any symptoms or signs to suggest encephalopathy. The American Association for the Study of Liver Diseases specifically advises against routine ammonia measurements for diagnosis or trending response to treatment of hepatic encephalopathy, as ammonia levels are variable within patients and laboratories, lack sensitivities and specificity, and rarely alter management in cirrhotic patients. Instead, assess for signs and symptoms suggestive of hepatic encephalopathy in patients with chronic liver disease. Grade 1, sleep reversal behavioral changes. Grade 2, lethargy and confusion. Grade 3, stupor, incoherent but still arousable. And grade 4, coma. Importantly, these symptoms in patients without chronic liver disease or portosystemic shunting do not constitute hepatic encephalopathy and require an alternative diagnostic evaluation. Before we continue, if you would like to have a written summary of this video, kindly subscribe to my Substack page and newsletter. The link to that page is provided below in the description field. Let's move to mistake number 2, the protein starvation error. Patients with cirrhosis are often malnourished and protein restrictions are associated with increased mortality. So patients with hepatic encephalopathy should generally not have their protein intake restricted. Patients with mild to moderate hepatic encephalopathy can typically take nutrition orally. Patients with severe hepatic encephalopathy usually do not receive oral nutrition, but as soon as they improve, a standard diet can be given. Patients should be instructed to eat small meals throughout the day with a late night snacks of complex carbohydrates, because fasting results in the production of glucose from amino acids, leading to the production of ammonia. Mistake number 3, missing the precipitants, the triggers. The first step in the treatment of hepatic encephalopathy is not lactulose. It is the identification and correction of precipitating causes. Treatment of precipitating causes combined with pharmacological therapy is typically associated with prompt improvement in mental status and hepatic encephalopathy. Here is a high-yield precipitant checklist: GI bleed, infection, SBP and UTI, pneumonia, etc., hypovolemia, dehydration from overdiuresis or other causes, renal failure, constipation, electrolytes abnormality, specifically hypokalemia, metabolic alkalosis, hypoxia, hypoglycemia, sedatives, specifically benzodiazepines, and rarely hepatocellular carcinoma and portal or hepatic vein thrombosis. It's crucial to aggressively treat and identify the triggering factors. Mistake number 4, poor lactulose titration. Remember this: the goal of lactulose or other non-absorbable disaccharides such as lactitol is to achieve 2 to 3 soft stools per day without diarrhea. Diarrhea can worsen hepatic encephalopathy as it can lead to dehydration and hypokalemia. So titrate up and down to achieve these 2 to 3 soft stools per day. Lactulose and lactitol act through a variety of mechanisms that lead to decreased absorption of ammonia from the GI tract. The typical dose of oral lactulose is 30 to 45 ml, 20 to 30 grams, 2 to 4 times per day. An equivalent dose of lactitol is approximately 30 to 60 grams powder diluted according to the labels in 100 ml of water, given orally in 2 to 4 divided doses per day. Lactulose enema can be given if the patient cannot take it orally. We mix 300 ml of lactulose with 700 ml of tap water or saline, given as 30 to 60 minutes retention enema every 4 to 8 hours per day until the patient can take PO. Rectal tubes are not required to administer lactulose enema as they may cause discomfort, rectal irritation, and potential injury to the rectal mucosa in cases now of severe leakage in patients with severe fecal incontinence or inability to retain the enema solution, or in cases where prolonged retention of the enema solution is necessary, then we can place rectal tube in such cases. Remember this, we do not administer therapy by nasogastric tube because the high risk of aspiration in these patients. Let's move to mistake number 5, the wait and see with rifaximin. Rifaximin was approved as an add-on therapy to lactulose for secondary prophylaxis of overt hepatic encephalopathy. It is never a standalone treatment. In acute hepatic encephalopathy, it is not a first-line treatment but should be added if there is no clinical improvement within 48 hours of treatment with lactulose or lactitol. If the patient is already on rifaximin at home, we must continue that. The standard dose of rifaximin is 550 mg POBID. If you have a couple more minutes, I have one more thing to tell you. To monitor treatment efficacy, we evaluate clinical improvement and track the daily number of soft stools. Do not include the ammonia level in the trending data daily labs. Also, I want to add that for outpatient therapy, lactulose should be added for those who have at least one episode of overt hepatic encephalopathy, and rifaximin if they have another or more than one episode, we add rifaximin to lactulose. And one more thing, lactulose should be prescribed as a chronic therapy for all patients with cirrhosis who have experienced at least one episode of overt hepatic encephalopathy. Rifaximin can be added if they have more than one episode. In the end, I hope that you will eventually be able to diagnose and treat patients suffering from hepatic encephalopathy without needing to order an ammonia level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.